Earlier today, there was a hearing for the pick for Office of Management and Budget. Now, the person who was chosen for this position is Neera Tanden, chosen by Joe Biden. So now, I am not a fan of Neera Tanden. I'm going to explain why. She's, of course, been incredibly hostile to progressives in the past, despite, of course, chairing a think tank known as the Center for American Progress. Now, they've actually been against some of the progressive positions that are incredibly popular with Democratic Party voters. So I want to get to some of that a little bit later and what they've done. But first, basically, her confirmation hearing, a lot of it was spent on some of her old tweets, which she had tried to scrub from the internet. But of course, as we all know, what's on the internet lasts forever. And so I'm going to go to a video here first of Senator Bernie Sanders, who is the budget chairman. He's going to talk about this, and he's going to ask her about these tweets. So take a look.
We understand that we are a divided nation, and on this committee there are people who have very, very different political points of view. But I think most of us understand that it's important we debate the issues and try to minimize the level of personal and vicious attacks that seem to be so prevalent all over this country today. Your attacks were not just made against Republicans, there were vicious attacks made against progressives, people who I have worked with, me personally. So as you come before this committee to assume a very important role in the United States government, at a time when we need serious work on serious issues and not personal attacks on anybody, whether they're on the left or the right, can you reflect a little bit about some of your decisions and the personal statements that you have made in recent years?
Yes, Senator, I really appreciate that question, and I recognize that my language and my expressions on social media, caused hurt to people, and I feel badly about that, and I really regret it, and I recognize this. It's really important for me to demonstrate that I can work with others, and I look forward to taking that burden, and I apologize to people on either the left or right who are hurt by what I've said.
Okay. And as you know, it's not a question of being hurt. We're all big boys, and I don't see too many girls here, but big boys who get attacked all the time. But it's important that we make the attacks expressing our differences on policy, and that we don't need to make personal attacks no matter what view somebody may hold. So can we assume that as the director of the OMB, we're going to see a different approach if you are appointed than you have taken at CAP?
Absolutely, and I would say, social media does lead to too many personal comments, and my approach will be radically different.
I don't know about that one. I mean, look, I may be a bad person here, but I don't believe her whatsoever. Again, Neera Tanden, understand that when it comes to, personal attacks, Neera Tanden has been a leader in personal attacks against progressives, not just Bernie Sanders, but anybody who even ever followed or supported the candidacy of Bernie Sanders, and even those who had, switched over after Bernie Sanders lost in 2016, for example, to support Hillary Clinton. There were still those massive, attacks against progressives, against anybody, Bernie bros, all that stuff. And so understand that we don't necessarily, after, 4 years of nonstop vitriol from this one person, we're not just going to say, all is forgiven. You feel bad about it because your job is on the line. And so, we forgive you. No, it's going to take a lot more than that. Now, speaking, of course, some of the nasty things that were directed towards progressives, for example, Bernie Sanders, John Kennedy. So John Kennedy is not somebody that I agree with, okay? And this segment pains me because you have Republicans that are actually saying things, and hypocritically, of course, because a lot of these Republicans supported President Donald Trump, who said some of the most atrocious things about, liberals, Biden supporters, basically anybody, right? Now they're out there actually saying correct things, and it hurts me because it's like, ooh, it's hard to disagree. So with that, let's go to John Kennedy, who is actually right. Take a look.
It's not just one or two. I think you deleted about 1,000 tweets. And it wasn't just about Republicans. And I don't mind disagreements in policy. I think that's great. I love the dialectic. But the comments were personal. I mean, you call Senator Sanders everything but an ignorant slut.
That is not true.
And
Senator.
when you said these things, did you mean them?
I wouldn't have said ignorant.
Senator, I have to say, I deeply regret my comments.
I understand that, but
And
when
I
you
feel
said
badly
them, did
about
you
them.
mean them? I understand you've taken them back, but did you mean them?
I'd say the discourse over the last 4 years on all sides has been incredibly polarized.
I'm asking about yours. Did you mean them?
I really feel badly about them, Senator.
Did you mean them?
I feel badly about them.
Did you mean them when you said them?
I mean, I would say social media is I've
Did
heard
you
a
mean them
terrible
when you said
discourse.
them?
I feel terribly about them.
Did you mean them when you said them, or were you not telling the truth?
I mean, I feel badly. I look back at them. I said them. I feel badly about them. I deleted tweets over.
Are you saying that because you want to be confirmed?
No, I felt badly about them. And
Did you
deleted
mean them when you said them?
Senator, I must have meant them, but I really regret them.
Oh my God, that was brutal. Okay, John Kennedy, well done on that one. That is actually really grilling her about that, because you could tell that I don't think at all she felt bad for anything that she said on Twitter. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, I really want this job. I really want power. And the reason that I'm so mad at Bernie Sanders is that I believe that he cost me a position in Hillary Clinton's cabinet because Hillary Clinton did not win. And I blame Bernie Sanders and Russia, and I blame all this other stuff for Hillary Clinton not winning, which of course is absolute BS. In reality, of course, Hillary Clinton lost because she ran a terrible campaign, and Donald Trump ran a better campaign. And that sucks, but you can't go and blame everyone else for your own team's terrible failures. And this is even when people like me, who are Bernie Sanders supporters, grudgingly went out and voted for Hillary Clinton because we didn't want the disaster that was Donald Trump. And we're still getting blamed for this. And we would have gotten 100% blamed if Joe Biden had lost against Donald Trump. And so understand that this is a long time, war between people like Neera Tanden and progressives. And so, no, we don't take her at her word. And no, we don't believe that she doesn't, that she takes these things back. And it took her a long time to say, well, I did kind of actually mean them, but I feel sorry about it now. No, I'm sorry. I don't believe it. Now, that said, I don't have any issues with some of the stuff that she said against Republicans. I actually agree with a lot of that. Let's be honest. I mean, basically likening, Republicans like Ted Cruz to Voldemort. Not bad. And then he's a vampire with I forget what she said, what was stuck on Ted Cruz's face. All right. The less I know about that, the better. But again, some of the stuff that she said, Bernie Sanders owned by the Russians. That's super ridiculous. I even actually disagreed with a lot of the statements about Donald Trump being owned by the Russians. I do think that he had business ties. I do think that, Trump received money and had this weird kind of I look up to you kind of relationship, not just with Vladimir Putin, but Kim Jong-un and Duterte in the Philippines. And it's because they have the situation which Donald Trump wanted, to be a dictator, to be in control, to have absolute 100% loyalty. That's who Donald Trump is. That's what he's always wanted. And he didn't get this. But none of that to say that he was in control, that he was being personally controlled by Putin. No. Donald Trump was in control of himself. He was just an absolute moron. And the Bernie Russia stuff, again, even more ridiculous. But thanks to people like Neera Tanden, he ended up getting stuck with that. And you still have people that are making these disastrous, this ridiculous attacks against Bernie to this day. Even the Moscow Mitch thing. Nah, Cocaine Mitch was better. Oh, let's be honest. Or simply, I like to prefer it, calling him the Grim Reaper, because that's essentially what he is. But again, Bernie Sanders says, hey, that's not my focus. My focus is, can you do the job fairly and impartially? And again, I don't think that that's the case with Ms. Tanden. In fact, look, she's an incredibly partisan individual. We know that. Hey, I'm pretty partisan too. So let's be honest. A lot of my tweets might get me in trouble. But I'm not trying to angle for a job in the government. But she's also had issues where she was, where she had made some questionable decisions when she was at the Center for American Progress. For example, I go back to a 2018 article from Nathan J. Robinson in Current Affairs. He writes that CAP President Neera Tanden has described herself as the loyal soldier for Hillary Clinton, and despite heading a nonpartisan think tank, worked behind the scenes during the 2016 primary to try to erode Bernie Sanders' support. Leaked internal emails revealed Tanden's own political instincts to depart from what is typically considered progressive. She advised the Clinton campaign against the $15 minimum wage, which is now standard party fare, and is actually, thanks to progressives fighting for it, still in the House version of the coronavirus stimulus bill. Now, it's also argued, and this is far worse, that Libyans should be forced to turn over large portions of their oil reserves to repay the United States for the costs incurred in bombing Libya, on the grounds that Americans will support future wars only if they see that the countries attacked by the U.S. pay for the invasions. You know who else advocated for that position or a similar position? Donald Trump. Donald Trump also said Iraq should have paid for it by us taking their oil, for our invasion into their country. And here, Neera Tanden agrees, this time when it comes to Libya, in which, of course, later on, after our bombing of Libya, there was open-air slave markets. So that was disastrous. That is a horrifying position, telling innocent people of our bombing campaigns overseas that, hey, by the way, you owe us with your natural resources for the pleasure of being bombed by us. And by the way, sorry about killing your family. Oops. I mean, wow. That is a horrible position. All right, Robinson also goes on to explain that the Center for American Progress does not just accept shady donations from corporations, large business interests, the healthcare industry, etc., but also they give shady donations. In fact, journalist Andrew Perez, who now writes for the Daily Poster, reported that according to financial disclosure forms, CAP donated $200,000 in 2017 for the American Enterprise Institute. That is a right-wing think tank. It is a so-called free market think tank that is known as the longtime home of racist social scientist Charles Murray. In their joint reports, they basically refer to any sort of left-wing populist movement, whether it be in the UK under Jeremy Corbyn and the labor movement, the progressive wing of the Democratic Party under Bernie Sanders as, quote, authoritarian, because they prefer redistributive properties, like making sure that everybody's entitled to healthcare through the government, through, for example, a single-payer system. So, it's funny that there are people out here defending Neera Tanden from the left. In fact, here's a CBS News reporter saying, Tanden, in response to a tweet here from Bo Erickson, saying, Senator Sanders' first question to Neera is about the vicious attacks made against Republicans, progressives, and me personally. Tanden apologized to people on the left or right who she may have hurt, but no direct apology to Sanders, to which Kara Court says, Tanden was not so affectionately referred to as a neoliberal by Sanders' surrogates and supporters. Well, now, based on this, Neera Tanden is a neoliberal in her policy positions. Somebody who supports free markets and is against redistributive policies like healthcare and against minimum wage, raising it to $15 an hour. She is a neoliberal. It's not a slur. It's literally where her politics are. And so it's amazing to me. And let me give you the definition here, by the way, of neoliberal. So let me go here and find that real quick. Okay, that's basically it's supporting free market, free market policies and deregulation, essentially that's where Neera Tanden's policies tend to lie. And so, it is, you call a spade, and that's exactly what she is. Now, not only that, but Tanden also participated in joint events with neoconservative Bill Kristol of the Weekly Standard. Now, Kristol, of course, is a massive war hawk who cheered on the invasion of Iraq, which was an unmitigated, of course, foreign policy blunder, a disaster, one that Bernie Sanders did not vote in favor of. Not only that, but when it comes to her leadership at the Center for American Progress, well, you know what? Going to people that I don't like to make a great point, like the worst people in the world making awesome points, I'm going to go to Lindsey Graham. So now Lindsey Graham is going to read Glassdoor reviews from former people who had worked at the Center for American Progress about her leadership skills in order to make a point. Well, let's take a look at that.
As to her management capability, she referred to us for the Glassdoor review of her time of running the Center for American Progress. Again, she's a talented person, has come a long way in life, but here's some of the reviews. June 2019, 1 out of 5 stars. Terrible, absolutely horrible. October 2016, cool work but absurd management. Disapproves of CEO. April 2016, influential organization poorly managed. September 2012, 2 out of 5 stars. Bad management. February 13th, 2 out of 5 stars. Great experience. Terrible management. 2 out of 5 stars, April 2017, disapproves of CEO, doesn't recommend, what a mess. So all I can say is that this is not the unifying pick that I was looking for this position.
Now, again, one of the worst people I know making an excellent point, just reading the reviews. And again, if you want to call him out for hypocrisy, 100%, I'm there with you. But on this, he is right. And these are people who worked with her. These are people who worked for her. But there's more, okay? Back in 2018, BuzzFeed News published a report detailing allegations of sexual harassment and retaliation at the Center for American Progress. So now, when Tanden discussed the issue within the organization, people were shocked to hear that Tanden had actually revealed the identity of the woman making that claim. Just outing this person. One CAP employee who was at the meeting told BuzzFeed at the time, quote, "There's literally one thing you cannot do in this meeting, and that is out the victim." And Neera not only, did it once, but did it multiple times. Quote, "It also destroys whatever small level of confidence in the system remained." So, look, again, she does not seem like a person, like a good pick for this. Not because we disagree with her politics, but because of the level of vitriol she has taken against people who, who are looking for actual, positive change within the government, progressive change. Not only that, but her leadership style and the stuff that she has done, the retaliation she has gone against for her own employees who have made allegations, is just, no, she's a toxic person, right? Her pick, to me, is a middle finger to the left. I think she's deeply, unqualified as a person. Not her professional life. Again, professionally, very smart, but just like, what Graham said, smart, talented, but also vindictive and petty and just very, very toxic. The only reason that I could see Biden picking her is as a reward for backing him. And that's gross. That's incredibly gross. And you might think that that's an unfair assertion, but again, I've reported on Neera Tanden for years, and it's no secret on the left that she is incredibly toxic. That's not to say that the Center for American Progress hasn't done a lot of good for the progressive movement. They used to run Think Progress, which was an excellent news organization, which launched a lot of careers of very successful progressive journalists. And so, there are positive things that the Center for American Progress has done. but they're, much, much better off under someone else. And the OMB is also much, much better off with someone else other than Neera Tanden. Okay, she has overshadowed any of the good that organization has done with disdain for any person who does not, fall in line with her, the Democratic establishment, and the donor class. She is a terrible pick, and I hope that she does not get confirmed. I hope that Bernie Sanders shuts her down. Simply put, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that there's a lot of pressure on him to confirm her, but again, we'll have to see what happens. But as far as I'm concerned, choosing her for the Office of Management and Budget would be an absolute mistake, not just for the progressive movement, but also would cast a shadow over the entire Biden administration because of her past toxicity. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.